So let's get on with this prep about, I'll put this one across all three platforms, and then I'll do the personal ciphers that really helped jump all of this off for me on on the channel I do not ever share on my social media, and where the running playlist is. And so let's take a look at, let's start looking at stuff. And first of all, does this have anything to do with anything? No. My right eye wound with a paper airplane. I guess we can run that now. It is 138, 88, and 816, all in the minutes, with the 89 in the second, the 83 to 89 in the seconds. 83 is murder in reverse ordinal, 289 to the rising day of 89, and then that's fused with the 96, which is taking something low and kicking it out high. That's what the 9 and the 6 do. The 69 just keeps it sort of rotating. And I'm just telling you, I'm just describing what the numbers look like. 9 takes something low and kicks it out high, like death to resurrection. And my right eye wound to the resurrection day is 966. 66 book of the Bible is Revelation. But to the 86ing day, my right eye, that's when the paper airplane, I'm sorry, flew into my right eye. I've documented that. We've been talking about that forever and a day. It was 12/17, 2021. It was a funny, comical situation, but I knew that it was a cipher the Lord had, you know, what he did. Look at the hours. It's 2/313. The Zapruder film 313, which is all about Revelation 13:3. First time deadly wound is mentioned. So all of that is in there. And there was the reason why the 816 is big. So you go back to the minutes and you see the 138 followed by 816. And what fuses those two together is the 88, 138, 816 in the minutes. It's perfect. The 816 was the full moon of August 2008, which is what the text to Trump is all about, 88022. The August 2nd of that year. And I can only get into that in my personal ciphers, though. But I saw the dark night the day before, which was August 1st, 2008, on a total solar eclipse. Yes, I saw the dark night on a total solar eclipse, and I had no idea about any of this world being evil. I was a Catholic astrologer, basically. Wasn't really in any religion, but I was raised Catholic, and they showed me astrology at that school, the PAGAN school. It was they had a zodiac wheel on the cover of a paper stapled yearbook. But anyway, that's a big deal. If we run when my right eye wound got busted up, and I showed y'all on a video, which was exactly 130 days later on April 26, 2022. If we run that to this right eye wound date, notice it's 834 days, 834 days. 83 is murder in reverse ordinal. 34 is murder in full reduction. They are fused together perfectly with my right eye wound day. Yes. So yeah, that's a personal cipher. We'll save that. So 9/11 to our August 7th date. 9/11. Notice it's 8366. We will use a personal cipher for this. I will say that on Groundhog Day 2009, it is 8036 is the number, which is 2 times 2 times 2009. And what I think the movie Groundhog Day was all about. And on the rising day would be 8368. And remember, 83 is murder. 66 is Book of Revelation. This is from 9/11, 2001. So on the rising day of 8/9. And the funny part is Donald J. Trump in Jewish gematria is 1189. So you go to Donald J. Trump, and it's 888 in the English, 148 in the simple. As we've been over that a million times, but we never really pay attention to the one that's the most biblical, the Jewish gematria. And there it is. It's got the 89 in it, fused with 18, which is 6 plus 6 plus 6, and the 11, which the OJ debacle. Now, again, on the rising day from 9/11 to 8/9, it turns into 8368. 68 is a reversal of 86. It represents rising as 86, represents to eliminate, or the fake staged assassination event. Anyway, so if you go to the OJ fiasco on 6/17, and why was it on 6/17? Because it was AC and the White Horse and the White Bronco. AC Cowleys. This is AC. I've got OJ. I'm in the White Bronco. I'm riding the White Horse, basically. When you run that to the 8/9 rising date, it is a perfect palindrome. 11,011. It's 11,011 days. It's the same number backwards and forwards. It is a palindrome, which means we've got to take a look at the movie Tenet. Film Tenet.
Tenet is a 2020 movie directed by Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan. Of course it's Christopher Nolan. Well, of course it is. Well, of course it is. And August 26th to September 3rd. That's August 26th to September 3rd. And that was in 2020. August 26th to September 3rd. I've got everything prepped up for y'all. But that can't be right. That's got to be a typo. August 26, 2020. What? To the rising day, it's 144.4, which 444, remember I played for Teamsters 444. 444 is the prime number for the Church of Revelation, because 37 is the 12th prime number. 12 is the number for the church. 37 is the 12th prime number. 37 goes into 666, 777, 888, 999, 555, 444, 333, 222, 111. 37 is that unicorn, which unicorn's a symbol for Antichrist. Go figure. But because it's a white horse with a horn coming out of it. But notice on the rising day, it is 144 for the Church of Revelation, fused with 444, the prime number for the Church of Revelation. That is his rising day, because it's all about, hey, it's 3:57 p.m., y'all, 3:57, the amount of verses in the book of Daniel. Wow. Notice it's 3 years, 11 months. 311, again, is opposite 9/11, which 9/11 was all about Revelation 11:7, because September was once the 7th month, and most countries write the date backwards. So Tenet's premiere date is a direct, perfect hit. You can't get any better than that. If you run it to their September 3rd worldwide date, it's 1436. It's 3 years, 11 months, 6 days. So you have 311 fused with the backwards upside down 911, which they gave us in Back to the Future, the 116, the backwards upside down 911. And the 36, of course, is Adam. The Black Adam is the Antichrist. That's the movie Black Adam. It's 1436 days on his rising day. This is fascinating. I just cannot believe this. I can't believe it's not butter. I just can't believe all this. I cannot. If you go to the Tom Jacks, which was on April 21st, if we run that video, I told you I had all this prep, but now my mind's starting to get to the things that I didn't do in prep, and I want to do them now. If you run the Tom Jacks video, MVI 1345, it is 108 days, but it is the perfect 110 days to 89. Why did I call that perfect? That's the height of the twin Trumps. 110 stories. It is 110 days to the rising day of Tom Jacks. The other video that Heliofont put out, April 21st, 2024. Doesn't Heliofont, don't they have like 3 videos, or did they take the other one down? They did. They took the other one down when they were at like that merry-go-round or whatever. And we will definitely have to get to the iPet Goat dates, which is 2012, which is July 3rd. And we run that to the 86ing day. It's 4418. Of course, the 18, it's 12 years, 1 month, 4 days. So you have it's when they had the Pokey Poke, 1214, because that's a fusion of 214, 214th verse of Revelation is Revelation 13:3, deadly wound, but did live. First time deadly wound is mentioned, but it's 121 Antichrist fused with 214, the 214th verse, Revelation 13:3. So, and remember, 1214 is when they administered the therapy. It was on a total solar eclipse that sat in the middle of the 2 total solars that make the X across America. And it was also when Biden got his electorals. And so that is just gigantica. And then you run it to the rising day. You have 420, which that's Lily, the total solar eclipse on 420. And it's 12 years, 1 month, 6 days. So it's 121 Antichrist now fused with 216, which is 6 times 6 times 6. James Bond's car tag. 38, 188 in the seconds, 63, and then a 64 in the minutes. We'll get to that when we get to the personal ciphers. 121% of a common year, 1210.96%. So 121 Antichrist is actually fused into that twice. That was also a release date of 6/24 on their website. That was their YouTube channel release. And you have 121 fused with 116, which is backwards upside down 911. This is all just flowing like magic, like absolute perfection, isn't it? Wow. So that's the iPet Goat. And that's the Tom Jacks. Folks, this is just mind-blowing. That Tenet is a perfect hit with it. It's mind-blowing. Absolutely, positively mind-blowing. All right, let's keep going. Personal ciphers. Let's do that later. And we did talk about how the Twin Towers was released or opened on 4/4 for Revelation 404 versus 4/4 1973. When you run it to so let's go ahead on and run these dates. It's 1973. Four to our date, you get the Back to the Future clocks. Now, this is on the 86ing day. 187, which we know what that is. It's murder, and it's also 11 times 17. But what is 187? WON, August 7th, 187. So the Twin Towers opening date to the day the twin trumps come down, or one goes into hiding and possessed by Satan and the other gets a deadly wound. Hey, it's 4:04 p.m., y'all. The amount of verses in the book of Revelation. So you look at the days from when the One World Trade Tower, One World Trade Center opened, all 7 buildings. It's 18753 days. 753 is on all the clocks and Back to the Future. 007 is in the hours, along with 45. Trump is 45. So the hours are 45072. I would say the Twin Towers are really cipher number 1. The total solar of 2001 on the summer solstice is well, they're both the biggest ciphers. Yeah, the total solar, I have a cipher number 1. It's a palindrome. Let's take a look at why it's a palindrome. But anyway, 187 fused with the clocks on Back to the Future. Now we go to 2001 and see why that is a palindrome, which is cipher number 1. I think the most important cipher. It's 2001's total solar, 2001: A Space Odyssey, open with a total solar. And if we run that, it's 8,448 days. It is a perfect palindrome. And if you look at it, it's 23 years, 1 month, 17 days for Revelation 11:7, which is what 9/11 was all about. I've told you that. Because September was once the 7th month, October, octagon, octopus was the 8th month, and so on down the line. Decade, decameter, December was once 10th month. So it's 23117. 311, again, One World Trade Tower opened on 11/3, which was all about 2020 when Mr. Big put the big lock on the situation with the arrow going down, the big LOCKDOWN. He did that on 3/11, which is opposite 9/11, which the opposite of 3/11 is 11/3, which was when One World Trade Tower opened. It's all about the rising of the Antichrist on August 9th. So that total solar, hang on just a second. Let me turn down my own volume. My volume to you is good, but the volume coming back to me, I forgot to turn it down. But if we run that Groundhog Day 2009, it is a palindrome 5665. Palindromes, it's 186 in the months. We'll get to that in the personal ciphers. The seconds begin with 489, FOR, August 9th. So I think that is, let's go to transfer portal of time. Remember, the transfer portal is about the movie Tenet, or the movie Tenet is about the transfer portal. When you run 941 days through the transfer portal, when it's the in-between day, it's the day he would be portaling, that's what the Arch of Triumph is about. All the archways, the St. Louis Gateway Arch, all of that kind of stuff. We need to run those dates too, don't we? St. Louis Gateway Arch, Wikipedia. And the Arch of Triumph in France, Wikipedia. Of course, Arc de Triomphe. So we need to go through all of those. August 15th, 1806. So you have 1806 code in there. They didn't give me the ability to make it dark. I would have liked to have done that, but that's okay. So inaugurated July 29th, 1836. There's that 836, the 18, the 36, the 6 plus 6 plus 6 with the atom and Jewish gematria. Wow. Yeah, we'll get into all that stuff last since I don't have it prepped. But the transfer portal, let's get back to what is prepped. And remember, on the rising day of 8-9, it is in Libra. You have been weighed in the balances and art found wanting. Book of Daniel, the writing on the wall, which was the song in the film Spectre, James Bond 007. So it goes to August 8th, 941 days, the transition day, when he's portaling. When you subtract it through, it lands right on his birthday of 2019 through our transfer portal of time that we did discover back in 2022 on January 10th. That is the transfer portal of time. Put a comment down and I will get the video to you that will show you back when we discovered it. But long story short, January, that month was an complete overlay of the Donnie Darko month of October 1988. It was the date of the national championship game where they were running the transfer portal commercials on Dr. Pepper. And most importantly, in Donnie Darko, it was on the 10th of October. Again, it's the same overlay calendar. That's when Donnie went and talked about portals. And we started running dates backwards and forwards, and we were seeing full moons landing on eclipses, or when Trump said he had the illness on October 2nd, 2020, and it portaled back in the other direction, 465 days in both directions, landed on the total solar of 2023. Like what we were saying, that is Lily and I Pet Goat. It is one of the biggest ciphers that there is. It gave us the full moon, the flower full moon that was the lotus, which was all about resurrection, which made Obama's eyes get big. And if we go ahead and run that 289 while we're talking about it, the 2023 it is 1 year, 3 months, 4 days. It's 11:088 in the hours. It is a perfect 66 weeks. Remember, Trump's penthouse is 66 because Revelation is the 66th book of the Bible, where he considers himself the star of it. But if you include both dates as bookends, it's 1 year, 3 months, 5 days, 135. The 135th prime number is 761. Yes, I know it's a fusion of my birthday, 7/6/1961, but it's the amount of verses in both end times books, 357 in Daniel, 404 Revelation. which we have already shown on the clock today. I looked down at the clock and it was anyway. Look at the hours. It's 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, but the minutes begin with 666. Fascinating. So, I consider that a direct hit. If you go 287 to include both dates, the day of the event, the 89th prime number is 461, and it is 461 days. So that's a direct smash hit. But it's also 1 year, 3 months, 3 days for Revelation 13:3. First time deadly wound is mentioned. And it's 15 months, 3 days for the 153 fish. So these are all just mega powerful direct hits. But if you go to Lily, her total solar, which is what she was, it is 1 year, 3 months, 18 days for Revelation 13:18, the 666 Bible verse. That's fascinating in itself, isn't it? If you run Lily to the rising day of 89, remember the Mustang 289 engine, to the 89 is the horses. You have the 144,000 in the hours. The minutes are 68688. You have 68, which is a reversal of 86 twice. You have 86, which is the elimination day. You have 88 for Trump, all in the minutes. So everything is coded in that Lily to the rising day. Anyway, let's get on to the things that I have prepped and hope that my mind doesn't bounce anymore on to unprepped things. So let's get rid. We already showed you that. That's fascinating the way the total solar of 2001 is a palindrome, and how it's the 311 with the 11/7 with the 23 years, 1 month, 17 days. That's just, but the days are 8448, palindrome, tenant, blah, blah, blah. If we run that total solar to 9/11, 2001, unprepped item, it's 82 days. Wow. Text to Trump 88022. It's 1968 in the, well, look at that. It's 1968 in the hours. It's perfect. I told you that's one of the biggest ciphers. It's the number one cipher. It's 1968 in the hours, which is when they had the double FAKE events staged. It was the RFK and MLK. Of course, that's why there's a RFK relative or son running for president now, to get everybody's mind back into those eliminations. But 621's total solar of 2001 to 9/11, it's 82 days. And if you include both dates, it's 83 days. 83 is murder in reverse ordinal. But the 1968 in the hours right there is just mind-blowing. Bah. So we'll get to the Gateway Arch and everything last, since it's not prepped stuff. So transfer portal, we did that. If you run one of them, by the way, you get, I think it's 940 days. You get Batman Begins. And if you add it, you get our August 7th elimination date. And Batman Begins began on 6/15, because 6/15 is the key cipher, because 617, the 617th prime number is 11/3, which again is all about rising. So you see how all of this bounces off of each other. And Batman Begins began on not Trump's birthday, the day after, 6/15. And then there was the Dark Knight, which would be 6/16 progression. And then the Dark Knight rises on 6/17, and the 617th prime number, excuse me, the number 617 is a prime number. It's the 113th prime number. One World Trade Tower rising represents rising because that's what rose up after the Twin Trumps was opened on 11/3. So there's your 11/3. The 113th prime number or 11/3 prime number is 617. That's why Batman Begins 615. Dark Knight would be progression 616. Next progression would be 617. Progressions are powerful. Progressions matter. I've shown you all that in the personal ciphers. And when I get to the personal ciphers, we will nail down all of that for you. Prime numbers. 89 is the 24th prime number. That's what year we're in, isn't it? That's the rising day. By the way, 89 is the 222 day of the year, which is Genesis 222, Adam's Rib. We know about Adam's Rib Company in Antichrist University, Gainesville, Florida. It's called Adam's Rib Company because it's not really about the ribs, is it? Or it'd be Adam's Ribs because they sell ribs. No, it's Adam's Rib Company, Gainesville, Florida. So when you look at I think it's the 89th prime number is 1399. I don't think I included that there like I should have. Let's go ahead and go to the prime number list and look at the 89th prime number. No, I told you that's 1461. So the 1399 prime number, let me find it because I goofed. It didn't. So, oh, I'm sorry. So remember 399 is murder in Jewish gematria, the most biblical. And we were talking about how it's day 222 when he rises. 399 or WON or winning, you know, when Jesus rose, he had victory over death, and that's the WON or the number 1. Number 1 can mean the number 1, or it can mean WON, like the number 2 can mean TO, or the number 4 can mean FOR in the language of numbers. Let's keep going. So it's day 222 of the year on the rising day, and it's victory or 399, victory over murder, because murder is 399 in Jewish gematria. And it's all about the murder. The fake murder of Trump. Look at all the items for the 86ing day. And one of them was incorrect. So I had to correct that. That was on the rising day. So these are all the things that are associated with August 7th. And these are 37 progressions or progressions of 37. Because remember, that goes into all 111 all the way through 999, including 666. And it is the prime number for the church. Prime numbers are very big. You know how they advertise on the UFC, Dana White, who introduced Trump. Prime hydration, Optimus Prime. Everything's about prime numbers in their world. It's probably cipher number 3. Prime numbers. And December 14th, 2020 was the center, the exact center of the 2 total solars that make the X cross America. And there was a total solar on that day. So imagine that. On the exact midpoint of 2 total solars that form an X across America, you had a total solar on the midpoint day. It was December 14th. Remember the fusion of 121 and 214 or 1214. It was December 14th. That is a direct hit on August 7th. Room 222 release date on 9/11/1969. Karen Valentine. We know about the Valentines or the hearts all over iPet Goat. And you see how that is a direct smash hit. And it's a fusion of the rising and the 8016 day because it connects to the 8016 day. But day 222 is when he rises, and it connects to 9/11, which ended up being all about rising, even though it was the day the twin Trumps went down. So it's, you see the fusion and how everything goes backwards and forwards. It's a direct hit for when he said, I am the chosen one, which I think came up in Gematria when we do our Gematria. We'll come back to that. Aleister Crowley's death on 121 Antichrist. Obama's birthday, which is all about the birth certificate, which Trump was all about, and their psychological operations that they were running. It was the founding date of the organization that, well, it's a C, and then it's a D for dog, and then it's a C for cat. It's when it was founded. Godfather release date, The Omen release date, Batman Begins release date, Chariots of Fire release date. What is up with Batman Begins release date being a direct hit when Batman Begins? Because The Dark Knight Rises 2 days later. That's fascinating. So we need to go ahead on and blow that up. Let's go ahead and do that. Batman Begins, because it was in 2005. I do remember that on 6/15. Let's see if my math was right. Let's see if it really does divide by 37. It's 6993. 6993, and find out what progression it is. 189, y'all. Which is the rising August 9th. Wow. Got to be kidding me. That is just mind-blowingly powerful. It's August 9th fused with 666, which is 18. Alabama's helmet. They always show that 666 helmet. This is too much. I don't know if I've ever seen this much deep layered stuff. Look at that. It's an exactly 999 weeks to the day, a Wednesday to a Wednesday. Batman Begins was released on a Wednesday. The Trump event will be August 7th on a Wednesday, or that's my best speculation. So also Chariots of Fire is a direct hit. Total lunar eclipse in 2022 on 5/16. Woo! That's part of that type of tetrad. And I call them the quadrant or the tetrad or whatever you want to call it properly of the total solar in 2021 on December 4th through Lily's total solar. They were 502 days apart, but the midpoint landed when Sirius the Dog Star rose as a midpoint on August 12th, 2022, which was also the midpoint of 2 total lunar eclipses. That's impossible that you have a midpoint of 2 total solar and 2 total lunar eclipses on the same day. No, it really happened. It really happened. So if we run it to the 8016 day, it's a perfect 814, 2 years, 2 months, 22 days, 2222 code. It's 116 weeks, which is backwards upside down 9/11, and it will be on the rising day. Also, the rising day is 8/16, which again is the full moon of the total solar eclipse, which was the new moon, which is when I saw the Dark Knight 8/1 on this date back in 2008. Yep, on this date, believe it or not, on 8/1. It was a Friday. Anyway, so it's 814 days Let's divide that by 37 and look at the progression. 22 progressions. We know the 22nd prime number is 79. 79 is murder in simple gematria. Everything is just hitting absolutely perfectly. These are mind-blowing ciphers. Absolutely mind-blowing ciphers. Let's continue. Have I lost my place? I have lost my place. I'm over here. So eliminate, eliminate. It's also Revolutionary War shot heard round the world connection, 419, 1775. That's 419, 1775. That's 419, 1775. 419. 419. 91056. It's 138 Donald Trump in simple gematria in the weeks 13008. 91056. 91056. Yeah, so that is off. So if we say, let me pause for a second. So the Revolutionary War date is April 19th, 1775. So let me fix it. So it's a direct hit for August 7th if you include both dates. If you don't include both dates, then it pushes it to 88 August. Anyway, so let's keep going. Anne Hathaway's birthday progression, November 12th, 1982. She was in The Dark Knight Rises, and she was also in Love and Other Drugs with Donnie Darko. So she has been the love interest of Bruce Wayne and Donnie Darko. Because Jake Gyllenhaal and her, Jake did Donnie Darko. Anyway, the Franz Ferdinand assassination on 6/28. Let's take a hard look at that. Hang on. So Franz Ferdinand is a direct hit if you include both dates, and it is 187 coded as it is the 1087 prime, 37th progression. Excuse me. It's the 1087th progression of 37, 187. There it is. And of course, there's your August 7th date. So, yeah. Or victory over August 7th as they pulled off the stunt. Did we think Franz Ferdinand really died? No. We think all of these events. It's a direct hit with Trump announcing he had the illness. Wow. October 2nd, 2020. Let's see if the math is correct. October 2nd, 2020. Let's see what type of progression that is. 1405. No. Why are all these off? Hang on. So they're not all off. Anne Hathaway's was a direct hit. I'm glad I'm trimming them up. So hang on. It is murder in reverse full reduction. It is the 38th progression of the number 37. 38 is murder in reverse full reduction. It is a perfect hit when Trump announced he had the illness. If on the Donnie Darko date, simply, once again, if you include both dates, which you can do either one. They code either one at any time. I am so glad to be getting all of this cleaned up because all this time my spreadsheet was off, but we're finally going over it. It is a direct hit for the Trackdown episode. And it was called The Trackdown episode was called The End of the World, and the date, August 7th, in spelled out properly, August 7th, in Gematria, comes to the end of the world. And that was the name of the Trackdown episode. That's actually in my prep. And but we do need to make sure that the math is correct, since math has been also 5958, 1958, 59, 24, 197 days. Nope, it's gonna be, I gotta move that one too. I just did a spot check and everything's okay. I am really mind blown at something I just came across though with a personal cipher about the Heidi Bowl 11/17/1968 that took place, 2-hour 86ing day. Just like, what? But anyway, let me fix the other item. The fact that Trackdown, again, is a direct hit, though, if you include both dates, is, again, it's fascinating that the show is called The End of the World, and that's what August 7th comes to, which if you include both dates, it lands on August 7th. So, but we'll get to that. It's also Trump Golden Statue CPAC on 2/26/2021. Saturday Night Live release date on October 11th, 1975. So on and so forth, including both dates. You got Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Remember, again, a trilogy. The final one, just like Rising, it's called Return of the King. So the middle one, The Two Towers, what went down, The Two Towers, One World Trade Towers, Return of the King, or The Dark Knight Rises. We've been over that 1,000 times. So I want to double check all of these and make sure they're correct before I go through all these, because this is just fascinating. The Tom Jacks, Heliophants, a direct hit. And On the Middle Day, which it's all about murder and rising, because Jax Taylor's birthday is 7/11, which is rising, but 1979, which is murder. 79 is murder in simple gematria. So Dark Knight Rises is all up in here. The King's Man, I thought I fixed these. Hang on a second. Oh, that's right. I had sent myself more than one. Okay, I know what happened there. I'll fix it again. The King's Man had a premiere on 12/5 on December 5th, 2021. Now, and we'll get to that in a second. Just to finish up, you do have 23:088 in the hours. 1:38 begins the minutes of The King's Man release date. It is a perfect hit if you include both dates. On the Rising, it had the same exact ending as No Time to Die, with the same lead actor, same amount of people in the room, same amount of genders in the room. They were toasting to the fallen one over whiskey. It was the exact same ending. So, but if we run, when we run the 12/5 to the 86ing day, it's a palindrome, 2 years, 8 months, 2 days, and it's 322 code, 32 months, 2 days. And so that's absolutely beyond fascinating that you get that. Not a coincidence that The King's Man release dates were 12/22 and 12/26 which is your 222 Rising Day coded in both. And remember, it's the same as No Time to Die. Just like Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again is the exact same as The Dark Knight Rises, because they were both released on July 20th, but 6 years apart. But The Dark Knight and Mamma Mia released on the same day. So you see what they did there. That's impossible to have that as a coincidence. So Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. Remember, the Mamma Mia series featured all three men from Antichrist movies. One was a former James Bond, one was Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and the other was from the Kingsman series. So it was, yeah, it's just mind-blowing. Remember, Lily James represented the Lily of I Pet Goat. She was the star of Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. I think maybe both movies. I don't know. Lily James, Mamma Mia. So she was in Mamma Mia. Yeah, that's quite a name she's got. Yes, yes, yes. I want the dark. How do I do that? I'm clicking it, but it's supposed to appear when I do off to the side. Let me pause. Let me try to get this right. There we go. That's the way you do it. You play the guitar on your MTV. Yeah, she's April 5th. And there she is, 89, 1989, 89, 98, 89, 198, 9, 98th verse is the White Horse Crowning verse, fused with 89. So that's what she's all about. I didn't think she was in Mamma Mia. It just says she was in Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. Yeah. Oh, that's right. It was the other girl was the lead. But yeah. So let's keep going. Let's keep forging through this. This is just mind-blowing, fascinating stuff. Let's get out of this email and keep going with the prep. So I have an anomaly friend where she turned the exact amount of days old. Trump and I's combined number 1346322 1968. Got a 322 to 1968 in it. I've shown you this many times, or at least on certain channels I have. And she and I are exactly 8,700 days apart. 33 days later, I turned the next 5 digits of Trump and I's combined number. She turned on 3/11, again, the 3/11. She turned 13463 days old, which is the first 5 digits of Trump and I's combined number that has a 322 in the middle and ends in 1968, the double fake stage event year, MLK RFK. Well, 33 days later, I turned the next 5 digits of Trump and I's combined number. And then 33 days after that was that total lunar of 5/16/2022 that we've already looked up. So we knew we were on to something big. Well, she and I are exactly 8,700 days apart. And if you include both our dates as bookends, it's 8701. And 701 of 2023 was a very unique anomaly with 2 of the most important people that have ever been in my life. And if I were to, their days old crisscrossed. One turned, well, their days old crisscrossed with the amount of days apart they are from me. And I've shown you that with 2 other people that took place. And I guess we need to look at both but they crisscrossed, as one person is 8143 days apart from me. Well, this person turned 18413 days on that day. And on that same day, that person turned 14497 days old, and I'm 4497 days apart from the other person. They had an exact crisscross. If you include both dates of our days apart, it's not days apart anymore. It's if you include both our birthdays into the math, the one person is 8144, 144 for the church, and the other person turned 18144 days old. They both crisscrossed. If you go to the 7-2 date, where it's the more biblical numbers, last year in 2023, and if you run it to the rising day of 8-9, it's 404 days, which is the amount of verses in the book of Revelation, but it's 1 year, 1 month, 7 days for Revelation 11:7, the beast rising on the rising day. Now we know why those two people crisscrossed like that. The two most important people that have ever been in my life, other than my parents. That was fascinating, or that is fascinating right now as we look at that. The other two people that did a crisscross, and theirs was an exact, not the number one in front of them like it was with the other, but it was an exact amount of days old, were the amount of days apart from me. It was January 12th and then 13th, if you include both dates. We need to go ahead and run those dates and see if anything pops. And on the 86ing day, you get it. 938. 38 is murder in reverse, full reduction. 135 begins the minutes. 135th prime number is 761, the amount of verses in Revelation and Daniel. But it's 2 years, 6 months, 26 days. So it's 2626 or 2626. And there's the 8143 code again that I just told you. The other person and I were 8143 days apart. 8144 if you include both dates. And there it is in the seconds, 81043. 8143 again. Oh, this is just wild. If you go to the 13th, which is if you include both dates, it turns into 937 days. And it's 133 weeks and 6 days, Revelation 13:3 code. But look at the 937 in the days. Now, look at my number, 8. Look at my number, 7 times 6 times 1961 times this person, 3 times 19 times 1998. Our combined number begins with 937. And then we've got an 87 right in the middle for August 7th. We've got 79 for murder, followed by 87 for August 7th, the murder day. And then an 87 again. So it's murder, August 7th, August 7th. That's just, we're like, what? And that person, 3 times 19 times 1998, like I've shown you a million times, that number begins with the 11-3, the opening of One World Trade Tower, which is reverse 311, which is the opposite of 9/11, which is all about the rising. This person also has a 138, which is Donald Trump and simple gematria in their number. They have 38, which is murder and reverse full reduction in their number. They have 88 for Trump and simple gematria in their number, in the 86ing of him at the very end. So it's like rising of Trump, rising of Donald Trump fused together, and then you have the murder of Donald Trump fused together. all in this person's number. What I cannot prove is that they were born at 8:08 a.m. and their first name, middle initial, and last name comes to the exact same as Trump's first name, middle initial, and last name. 148 in simple gematria. You just cannot make this stuff up, which is also 888 in English gematria, which is 6 times English ordinal or simple gematria. So I dipped into some personal ciphers there, but that was too hard to pass up. That's what I'm telling you. My personal ciphers really bounce off this August 7th, August 9th date. And nothing happened on the double midpoint when Sirius, the dog star, rose, and the midpoint of 2 total lunars and 2 total solars directly before and after of August 12th, 2022. Nothing happened on that day except in my personal life with 2 of these people that I've already spoken about. So is something going to go on in my personal life on these days, or is this going to be the event? Because this is mind-blowing stuff that I'm looking at here. So 11/7/1995, that's the rising of Lone Palm Mall, because the Twin Pines got knocked down, or one of them did, on 11/5. Well, in Back to the Future, it was November 5th, 1955. Why is that? Because on the 3rd day, he would rise on 11/7, or November 7th. That's why Back to the Future did that. So I'm going to run the Twin Pines Mall date of 11/7/1955. And sure enough, you get the 11/3 code on the rising day. It's 25,011.3. That's a perfect direct hit. It's also 68 years. 68 is a reversal of 86. Look at the percent of a common year right there down at the bottom right. 688. Remember, 68 is a reversal of 86. So it's rising Donald Trump, or rising Trump, as 88 is Trump. This is just too much. It's too much. It's too much stuff, is what it is. It's just too much stuff. I can't believe all this. The hours. Look at the hours and days. We know they always tell us to look at the hours because of the movie The Hours, which Meryl Streep and Nicole Kidman starred in. It was the most depressing movie you'd ever see, other than the Ben Kingsley movie that we also like to make fun of. But look at the days to the rising day. You got the 89 right in the middle of it, and the 86ing day right at the beginning of it, because most countries write August 7th as 7/8, 789, followed by, or fused with, 98th verse of Revelation, the white horse crowning. So it's 7/8/9/8. It's got everything in the days. Well, if you look at the hours, 189 begins the hours. And in the movie, The Hours, it's telling us that to always look at the hours. Again, this is just mind-blowing, the days and the hours of the movie The Hours, released on Christmas Day, 2002. That's mind-blowing, people. This is, how many times have I said mind-blowing? So if you do August 7th, which is the 86ing day, just in gematria, you get executive order, Pope Francis George Mario Bergoglio, his full name. You get the white horse rider, which would be Trump. You get 38/5. Well, the only reason you end up getting that is because Thunderstruck is another thing it comes to, And the song Thunderstruck, if not the movie, I think it's the song, comes to 38.5 in the days. This is impossible. It also comes to, of course, if it comes to 38.5, it comes to 538, which is the proper way to say the actual number. Believe it or not, the 38.5 had more searches. That's the AI doing that, because you would never search an improper spelling or how to say a number. Why would 38.5 have more searches? It'd be funny if the AI messed with us again and reversed it. But there's your 38.5. It's got 493 searches. And that's way more than 385. And by the way, that's in the Jewish gematria. Yeah, that's on an even, and there it is down here. 538 has only 276 searches. Why would you search the improper way to say a number? Well, because Thunderstruck is also one of the gematria connections, and the date of Thunderstruck to the 86ing day of August 7th has 38.5 in it. That's only the AI knowing we would be doing this as the reason why that would happen. Whew. Let's open everything else up here that I've got here. Let's open everything up, because Blink 182, August 7th comes to 182 in simple gematria. And I was like, oh, well, that's all about Blink 182. That's why there's a band called Blink 182, because when you blink, your eye closes. So Blink 182, well, they were originally just called Blink. Blink 182, originally named only Blink, was formed in August 1992 in Poway, California, which ends up being a brand new city created. It was only created December 1st, 1980. That's when it was incorporated. What? Yeah. So this is just the AI flexing on us. So their first album was called Cheshire Cat. Cheshire Cat. Am I saying that right? There's Trackdown. It's called The End of the World, where Trump gets shot. A man named Trump gets shot at the end. You see, it's 8.6 for 86. That's the rating on Trackdown at IMDb. It's called The End of the World. Well, The End of the World is one of the gematria ciphers. Like when you key in the storm is here, for instance, you come to the same number, counting letters as numbers, like A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. It's called gematria. That's how you get Donald John Trump for the number of a man, the 666. There it is. The end of the world it comes to. And I put friend there because he literally says, it's the end of the world, friend. And it's the name of the Trackdown episode, The End of the World. Well, that's what it comes to, the end of the world. In the gematria. Now it's in the, there it is, the storm is here, there's synchronicity, hidden in plain sight, thunderstruck. And there it is, the end of the world. Folks, you can't make that up. You can't make that up. That's nuts. It ends up being a direct hit if you include both dates from the release of the Trackdown episode. Then it's 79 in months. The Cheshire Cat is 121 Antichrist, released on 12/1/1980, Blink-182. And by the way, it's 4386 or 386, which is Murder to Eliminate. 43 years, 8 months, 6 days. 386, 38 is murder, reverse for reduction. 86 means to murder, to eliminate. It's all there for 386 for the first Blink-182 album, or when they began. 2279 in the weeks. Well, that's kind of perfect, isn't it? Because the 22 prime number is 79, which is Murder in Simple Gematria. All this stuff is just bouncing off of each other, and it's bouncing and it's bouncing and it's bouncing off of each other. Look at the city population, 488,41. 48,841 for Trump. FOR 88. Poway, California. The AI has just set us up to look silly if it's put all this together and nothing ends up happening on that day. Yes, the end of the world. Train spotting it comes to. What about the film Train Spotting? I didn't even bother to look that up. That was dumb. Hang on. Of course, Train Spotting, 148, Donald J. Trump in the weeks. So that's the film Train Spotting. There was also actually a book, but it doesn't give the release date. So we're not going to worry about that, are we? No, we are not. But yeah, just another direct hit. So let's continue on with the August 7th in Gematria, December 13th, November 4th, and July 19th. What's ironic is that July 19 is what it comes to on the rising day. So July 19th on the 86ing day, July 19 on the rising day. And that ends up being what, 12? Yeah, it's 19 and 21 days apart from July 19. I mean, what in the world are the chances of all that? All of that. The fact that you have executive order, Pope Francis, who, by the way, is 87 years old on 8/7. He is, it's not his birthday, but that's how old he's 87 years old now, and that's how old he will be on 8/7. It also comes to White Horse Rider. The way that 385 makes no sense until you see the days for Thunderstruck has the 385 in it. 538, Murder. The Storm is here. The Thunderstruck. The Track Down. It's just mind-blowing stuff. Thunderstruck film. There was also a film called Thunderstruck. 11 years, 11 months, 143 months. But look at the days, 4/366. 66 book of the Bible, it's book of Revelation. That means on the rising day, it'll be 4/368. The rising day, 68. Also on the rising day. Not only is it 4/68, but it's a backwards upside down 9/11, 11 years, 11 months, 16 days. There's a 116 at the end of that, which is a backward upside down 9/11. 148 is in the hours, 104832. The URL for Thunderstruck has Donald J. Trump in Gematria and Trump in Gematria for the film Thunderstruck. 204 for that Lily's total solar eclipse of 20th day of the 4th month last year. 204 1488 148 and 88. Donald J. Trump and Simple Gematria. So it was called Thunderstruck, was the name of the movie. And there it is. It's all there. Every bit of it's there, including the URL. Jerry Springer also came up for that date. Wow. All right. The box office, by the way, the box office for the Thunderstruck movie, 587,087. It's so hard to make all this stuff up, isn't it? Because we know all these numbers are just fake numbers. If including both days, 86 and 88 for Thunderstruck. This is the song Thunderstruck. Okay. And that's where you get the 12,385. Remember in the Gematria, the 38.5 was searched more. Well, the song Thunderstruck by AC/DC, 12 for the number of the church, 12,385. Or 12,38.5. 38.5 was searched way more than 538. Which, if you've got the word 30 in there, you wouldn't say 38.5. You wouldn't search that twice the amount of times as you searched 538. Why would you search both of them? Why would they both be on page 1, the highest amount of searches? Because Thunderstruck lands on the release date of the song, lands on 8/7, AC/DC's. Which, if you look at the date, 9/1/01/990, so you have 9/11 in both directions, or 9/11 fused with 119 Donald. My goodness gracious, that's just the release of the song. July 19th, let me see, July 19th is Simple Gematria for August 9th, and July 19th is Simple Gematria for August 7th. So July 19 and July 19th, they both come to the Simple Gematria of, I wonder if they want us to look at that date in like 2001 or Trump's August 9th Rising Day. I'll come back and look at that later, though. Yep. So August 9th Rising Day. In Gematria. Let's click everything. Let's click them all, and we did. Comes to 795, 924, and 154. That's Trump's birth time of birth. The Simple Gematria for August 9th, or when he's going to be born again, so to speak, is his time of birth, 154. August 9th in Simple Gematria comes to 154. Trump was born at 154, or 10:54 a.m. It comes to Jets in the Jewish Gematria. It comes to I am the chosen one. It comes to the Antichrist. Yes, August 9th, the Rising Day, comes to the Antichrist. It comes to the second coming. It comes to 144, which is also how many days are left in the year. So the future tense of that date, days left in the year, is the church, which is perfect for his Rising Day. July 19, like we've already talked about. Dark Time in America, it comes to. It also comes to the Earth, or excuse me, Earth is Finished. And it comes to Lord of the Flies, which was a movie in 63. 68 in both the hours, and 3133 weeks of release date. What are the chances? Revelation 13:3 fused with the Zapruder film of Frame 313, which is actually one and the same, and the Lord of the Flies 1963 movie has that in spades. So where is that Lord of the Rings movie? 5/12, 1963. Look at the hours, 5/3/688, which is the reversal of 886, where it represents the rising of Trump. That's impossible. And you look at the nationwide release, that was a Cannes Film Festival release. You look at the nationwide release date of July 23rd, 1964, there's the 3133 in the weeks, which is impossible. 189 begins the seconds. That's what the Mustang 289 is about, folks. And remember, I showed y'all that they're looking, I'm not even going to get into it. It's ridiculous, but it's definitely the AI trolling. That was my mom's car, a Mustang 289. She was a secretary. And don't you know that Christian Bale in the movie Ford versus Ferrari looks at the Mustang 289 and says, that looks like a secretary's car. I've got the photo of that. I mean, I've got the photo of that with the subtitle. And that's just the AI trolling me, like it has with Groundhog Day. And so it's probably under Mustang 289, maybe. And there it is. That was the exact kind that my mom had. It was dark green. It had the white stripe at the bottom. It was a GT. It's called a Mustang GT, and it had a Mustang 289. And here is him looking at it and the subtitle, and he's making fun of it. Of course, it's Batman, Christian Bale, and he goes, I think it's a secretary's car. And of course, my mom was a secretary. The AI has been personally trolling me. Like Trump and I are on my mom's middle name was Anne, A-N-N-E. Trump's mom's middle name was Anne, A-N-N-E. And he and I are on opposite ends of the spiritual spectrum. That's just all there is to it. I'm sure people would go, you're on the spectrum, all right. Unintended. All good. By the way, 216, it also comes to. August 9th, spelled out, comes to 216. Well, that's James Bond's card tag because that's 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. What are the chances of that? I don't know. It just happened miraculously. So it's a lot. Freddie Mercury, it also comes to. Total solar of Dark Knight. When I saw the Dark Knight, it was on a total solar, which is a new moon. The full moon bursted on 8/16/2008. 15 days later. It's always 14 or 15 days later. It's 8:33 in the weeks, which is murder 83, along, of course, with their number 33. But look at the 144 in the seconds. It's actually 144,000 in the seconds. 504,144,000. You have the complete number for the church from that full moon in 2008. I'm telling you, the text of Trump is all about August 2nd of 2008 with his 88,022. The 802 in the middle, because something went down on that day in 2008. that just changed everything, changed my life, changed somebody else's life, and changed other people's lives forever. And you look at the hours, you have the 144,000 again, 140040. If you drop the zeros, there's your 144 there. Look at the seconds, there's your 144 there. But if you look at it directly, like directly, so when you look at the seconds of the full moon that was spawned from the new moon of the total solar eclipse on August 1st, 2008, when I saw the dark night, it has perfectly the 144,000 of the church, and it has the 144 again with 3 zeros, this time just scrambled. But in their world, in the Lord, they don't count zeros, so there's your 144. But if you do also take the all 3 zeros and put it at the end, I mean, you got 144 twice. Well, when is that? When do you have that? You have that on to the 86ing day from that full moon. The days is 5835. So on the bookend of the fives, the 5 on each side, in the middle you have 83, which is murder in reverse full reduction, or excuse me, reverse ordinal. This stuff's impossible. When I saw the dark night on a total solar eclipse, 404 in that hours, along with 144 total revelation code. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about. Okay, when I saw, this is the 16-year anniversary, I guess, of when I saw the dark night. It's 585 in the days, which that's a complete personal cipher. I really cannot tell you that one. But look at the hours. It's the 144 again, fused with 404, the book of Revelation. How in the world did we do that? Let's just paste that also. Folks, this stuff's impossible. Look at the hours of when I saw the dark night. To the darkened right eye. I just saw something else that just blew my mind, but don't get sidetracked. So here's all your 144s. Here it is again, but it's Revelation 404 fused with it. 404 verses of Revelation, my first address, probably where I was conceived when I came home. But when I came home from the hospital, that's where I lived first 3 years of my life. 404 Lime Street, Auburndale, which is now a church parking lot. Go figure, a fake church parking lot, which I love making fun of fake churches. It's the 144,000 of the church, but this time it's 404 Revelation instead of 4004. But we got the book of Revelation, and that total solar eclipse and that full moon from it to this date, 3 different times. And we know that the end times is for the church. Folks, if this stuff isn't going down, the Lord, through Satan, is having me waste my time and yours exponentially. Because this is maddening crazy. Maggie Gyllenhaal, the only person alive on the earth that we know of that was in both The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. If there was somebody else, they were a much smaller actor, had much smaller roles. Her birthday on November 16th, 1977 is 17066 to our 86ing day. (24) 38 weeks. So year 2024, murder 38. On the rising day, you guessed it, her days turn into 17068. So you have Adam, which is 76 in Strong's Concordance. Remember, he's the Black Adam. Fused with 68 rising. 68 is reversal of 86. So on the rising day, she's 68 rising days old. 17068 days old. Impossible. 761 is in our percent of a common year, which is the combined verses of Daniel and Revelation. The percent of a common year is 4,67616, or 4,676.16%. I know, that's impossible. We will finish up with that Arch of Triumph, I promise. George Floyd Day. To the rising day, 1537. 153 represents the church. 37, prime number for the church. Look at the hours, 36, 888. So it's Adam, the Black Adam. 36, Adam in Jewish gematria, comma, 888. But it's 688, folks, which is the reversal of 886. We've been over that a few times, right? I don't have to keep explaining that. OJ to the rising day. Remember, it occurred on 617 because it's the 113th prime number. This is AC. Didn't I already go over this with y'all? Yeah, the 11011. Already went over that with y'all. My right eye event, which took place, the paper airplane. I think I already showed y'all that also. Yeah, it's got the 130, 88, 816. That's that full moon we were just talking about, 816. In the seconds, it has the 289. Well, it has 83, 289. For the Mustang 289, 96 is fused with it, which is the rising day. 31 months, 21 days. So it's 121 Antichrist. But the minutes, again, 138, fused with 88, fused with 816, which was the full moon. 138816 in the minutes of the paper airplane flying into my right eye to Trump's right eye date. Impossible. The other right eye event that took place, it's 83 fused with 34. We've been over that. It's 216 in the hours, which is 6 times 6 times 6. It's 20,016 hours. There's also Eve in the minutes. 2096 is Eve. In Strong's Concordance, it's 1200960 minutes. Eve represents the church. And it's, yeah. Eve represents the church. That's why you get the movie all about Eve, as Jesus was Adam. But in their Black Adam world, Eve is the goddess. I guess he's both Adam and Eve. So that's it for my prep. Thanks for sticking in there all the way. If you did stick in there all the way, give it a thumbs up and give it a comment, please. I love you. Thank you. Fascinating.